My mother-in-law sent me this picture, but then I realized, I looked closely and it's London 2012, not Rio. But anyway, I thought it was a really nice picture. So this lady won the gold. Okay. So there was this little boy who decided to be committed to whatever he wanted to do. Okay. So, for example, yesterday evening, he made this decision, and I'm going to be committed. And in the morning, he said this prayer. Okay, so he said this prayer. He said, "So far today, God, I've done all right. I haven't gossiped, haven't lost my temper, haven't been greedy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or overindulgent. I'm really glad about that. But in a few minutes, God, I'm going to get out of bed, and from then on, I probably need your help. Thank you, in Jesus' name, Amen." So, my session today is about commitment. And I struggle with the word. It's long. I can't remember how many M's there are and where it goes because I can't spell really well. But it sometimes has a negative connotation, right? Commitment. Like for the guys is, when you get married, another one bites the dust, that kind of stuff, right? Commitment, gone, finished. But there's a positive side to it. I'm committed to, if you're into football or whatever, I'm committed to go and play football or basketball or whatever. Or the girls, I'm committed to do my nails or toes or whatever, right? I don't know, sorry. But there is a positive side to it, okay? So sometimes we have this thing where it's not so warm and cozy that I feel committed, or I don't want to get into a commitment. Like I said, it's long, it's drawn out, it seems like a struggle, okay? But I'm going to present something to you, and Rach, if you can just flip and I'm going to ask you to look at commitment in this angle, okay? And I'm going to give you my life example, my own example. Okay, so my wife is going to blush now. So I met my wife in India about 6-7 years back, somewhere there. The first thing I had to look at, so I'm going to call this the first component of it, which is treasures versus troubles. It's like a cost benefit analysis. Okay, sorry, I know that that's only related to money, but just to simplify it. Okay, so treasures versus the trouble. So the treasures were for me by far, after I had shared with her my life, she accepted me. Okay, so that by far was my biggest treasure. And all the troubles that I had to travel from here, I did many trips. Because I had to, pataw her. In other words, I had to woo her. Okay, I had to woo her. So, sorry, that's a very Indian term. Sorry about that. So I had to do many trips. What I used to do, I used to fly on Thursday evening, fly to India, come back Sunday early morning, go straight into work. All these kind of things. So I gave up a lot of sleep, I gave up a lot of money, I gave up a lot of things. So these were the troubles, right? But the treasures were far more important to me than the troubles. So for me, the relationship was something I was saying, okay, I'll go for it. So I had to do something, right? I had to contribute, I had to invest my time, money, cards, flowers, what else? Chocolates. Yeah, I did chocolates. Thank you. So I had to invest from me. I had to give of myself because I wanted this to work. Because I did this analysis and I said the treasures are far more important than the troubles. So I'm going to contribute. And then I had to let go of some choices. So for example, if there was a party on Thursday night and I was flying, I had to let go of that because I felt that relationship to pursue was far more important than the party. Okay, so sometimes we'll have to give up some choices in pursuit of our goal. Okay, so that to me is another way of looking at commitment. Okay, so What I'm going to get you to do now is help me write on this board a few things, different components of commitment. Okay, like I'll start off with a big thing here in Dubai is financial commitments, right? So I have things like, so let's say finance. I have things like rent. What else do you do with your car loan? Yes, loans. Anything else? Groceries. So running the house. Okay. What about your employer commitments? Like Amanda lovely shared that she got 5 months off. That's great. But basically, see, the concern was my commitment to the employer, right? So employer commitments. Most of us here are tied by the contract, right? So if we are not here, we're not going to be here. I mean, if you don't have an employer contract job, we're not going to be here. So this becomes sometimes a big part of my life. I have to get up in the morning, even though I don't like it. But I'm tied to, so I'm committed to, yeah, although this one, even though I don't feel like it, I do it because I've signed on the dotted line. What about emotional commitments? Like in my younger days when I used to fly to India to see to woo my wife, right? Emotional commitments. So some of us have boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. Some of us have siblings. Some of us have to invest time there. So those kind of commitments, right? Some of us have social commitments. And I don't only want to go about the social media aspect, but different other kinds of commitments. My friends, I have to look right. I have to, wear the right thing. My nails have to be in this particular fashion for the Olympics and this kind of stuff, right? So there are social commitments. I don't know. I'm just, any others you all think of? Any other kind of commitments that come up in your everyday life? Time? Meaning?
Giving of my time to anything that is, if it's a cause or something like for example, for me it's the group, so I give my time.
Okay, so that would be kind of like a contribution towards the thing. So I would say, let's say, come alive. Okay. Or if you go a little deeper, maybe we can say God, spiritual. Okay. So these are different kind of varieties of commitment you have, right? Exercise, it's not a very popular thing, but sometimes exercise. You know why I'm talking about exercise? Because I'm all, I love this Olympics, and it comes once in 4 years, and I love watching these guys give their life for this year. So, and it's this kind of commitment which gets them there. Today I found out one of my guys at work, his sister-in-law ran for 100 meters. Like, dude, that's pretty cool, man. And she came fourth, so she's not bad. Not from India, from South Africa. But India won a silver medal yesterday. Just in case nobody picked that up. Okay, so these kind of things are kind of in and around your life. So what I want you to do is maybe pick one of these and try and, like Christopher mentioned, so he kind of gave us already head start. He says, come alive, and I'm going to look at time. So I'm contributing a lot of time because this group for him is a big deal. It may not be for the others, but I'm just saying. So if we can look at one thing, so for example, financial commitment for me. Can I put this in this equation? Like one of the things here which we didn't speak about is some of us support our parents, right? So that's a commitment, a financial commitment. So can you take one of this, any one of this, or anything else that you have, and try and put this in this equation? Yeah. If you want to work with somebody, or if you want to do it alone, up to you. Yeah. But just maybe 2 minutes, just to kind of understand and digest it, this commitment. And if you have any questions, just ask, yeah? Just about where does this fit in, how does it work? Okay, I'm going to move on, but we will come back to this in a bit. Now, where did I get this from? This is from a secular book called Commit to Win. It's written by this Dr. Reader, and she gives this definition of commitment. Okay, commitment is the experience of being psychologically attached to something and intending to continue. Now, while I was preparing for this session, I realized, like I'm talking about this, the Olympic spirit, right? St. Paul, or Saul at that time, was quite involved in this at that time. So a lot of his letters, a lot of his examples he gives is surrounding this kind of games, you know, the strive, the struggle, the hard work, determination for this. So he says in the first letter to Corinthians, he says, do you know that in a race all the runners compete, but only one receives the prize? Yeah, like the obvious, okay? But they do it to win a perishable wreath. So in those days, if they won, they used to give them this lovely thing on their head, right? Which was perishable. It was made out of leaves. But we, an imperishable wreath. So what is he saying is, we are running a race to win an imperishable wreath. And that means an imperishable goal. Or if you could put it this way, like now they give gold medals, right? So I'm sure that doesn't get rusted or anything. But I'm talking about in those days, he's telling the people, the race is for your eternal goal, which is heaven. That's what he's talking about, imperishable wreath, something which will never die out. So he's saying, run the race with that in mind. So all these guys who come to the Olympics, they're not running thinking they're going to come 10th. They're running thinking they're going to win. That's why they're there. That's why they train every day. That's why they get up. Today I was watching the interview of this coach who trained this lady who won the silver medal. And he said she had a bad experience after the Asian Games. And he called her up and he said, do you want to get up every day at 4:30 in the morning and train? And she said yes. So for 6 years, she's been training every single day at 4:30 in the morning. That's commitment. That's my goal. But on our earthly terms, that's a perishable goal. So for us, on a spiritual term, what is my goal? Where do I want to go? Right? So with St. Paul's permission, and I said a small prayer, I really did, I'm changing this definition to, Rachel, next slide. Commitment is an experience of being psychologically attached to someone and intending to continue. This is what I'm talking about. When I was talking about the imperishable goal, I'm talking about heaven. I'm talking about a relationship. I personally feel that relationship is far more important than a thing. Right? That's why I've tweaked this definition a bit. So it is the experience. I remember Dan, when I spoke to him casually, I asked him, how was World Youth Day for you? And he said to me, so sorry Dan, I'm just quoting you, but you said to me, you know, I've seen many film stars, but seeing Pope Francis was a different experience. The experience of being psychologically attached to someone. So Pope Francis is not great because he's Pope Francis. It's because he embodies the person of Jesus. He radiates Jesus. That's what's so attractive. That's why there are 1.6 million youth who went to see Poland. Yeah? So Yeah. So this is the picture of him walking through the door of mercy which they had constructed, right? So that experience of I like this guy. It's not very clear, but I like this guy's expression. It's a mix of I can't believe this is happening, at least to me. Yeah, it's an experience of being psychologically attached to someone and intending to continue. It's like love. It's like my wife. Now I'm psychologically attached to her. I'm committed. In front of my family and friends and the church, I've said I'm going to stay with you for the rest of my life. I'm committed to her, and I intend to continue. So it's not that I was joking about I wooed her in the beginning. No, it's not over. It's for the rest of my life. I'm committed to love her. So the loving part is not only to give her chocolates and it's done. No, now it's for the rest of my life. So that's what I'm talking about. So Jesus is saying, and if you flip it back, so Rachel, if you can go back one slide, if you flip it back, just think Jesus is saying this to you. So just imagine Jesus. So Jesus is sitting on this chair and he's telling you, I am committed to the experience of being psychologically attached to you, Joff. You, Priya. I want that experience of being psychologically attached to you. That's big. That's how much he loves us individually. That even if we fall, even if we muck up, sin, whatever, he is going to intend to continue. He'll pursue you individually because he loves you. That's how much commitment he has for you. So we look at commitment from this side of the fence and we say, God, commitment, that's why there's someone, God. But he's equally looking at you and saying, I want to love you. I want you to know that you're psychologically already attached to me. You might think you don't know it, but you are, because I created you. Okay? So that's the degree of, so if that's the goal, then I'm going to look at the treasures versus the troubles. And I bet you the treasures are far, far more than the troubles. So I'm going to invest my time and I'm going to look at the choices that I have to maybe let go. Okay? Now, okay, so Pope Francis, now if we go back to that slide. Now Pope Francis talked about during his final homily, and if you get time, guys, just go and try and read some of his stuff, because I know when he delivered it, it was in Latin, I think, or I don't know what language, but if you go to the website, you get it all in English, all his speeches and all, right? So that's much better for us. So in his final homily, he said it was about the story about Zacchaeus. Everybody knows about Zacchaeus? The short chap, tax collector who climbed up the tree and said, he wanted to see Jesus. So he gives a beautiful, and you must read it. It's nice, short. It's like 2-3 pages, nice and short, but it's beautiful. So one of the things I'm going to reflect on is he says this to him, and Pope Francis reflects on this. So Jesus says, "Come down, for I must stay at your house today." Why I liked it is what Pope Francis said after that. He said, World Youth Day starts today, after the final Mass, because Jesus wants to come down and go back to your home, wants to come into your work, wants to come into your relationships, wants to come into the things that you're involved in, wants to be with you. Now initially, a couple of years back, whoa, I like this experience of World Youth Day, it's cool, it's whatever, but just that and my life, two different things. I don't want that, Jesus coming into all these areas of my life. Whew, that's like interference, no? But if you look at it as love, then it's not interference. Then it's that intending to continue, intending to pursue, intending to love you, intending to come into every area of your life. Come down, I want to stay in your house today. Even if it's a mess, I want to stay in your house today. That's Jesus telling you. Okay? So, the question is, why would Jesus want to stay in my house today? What benefit is it to me? Suppose I feel I'm a good person. I'm living a good life. What benefit is it to Jesus coming to my house today? Or coming into my interior places where nobody else knows, not even my spouse, not even my closest friend, not even my parents. Jesus wants to come into there. Why? For what? He has nothing better to do? Any ideas why? One word? I'm looking for one word. Any guesses? You don't have to be right or wrong. No test here. I always. Yeah, but I'm looking for something a little bit more.
Relationship?
Sorry? Commit? No. Relation, but little bit more. Why relationship? Why commitment? Why love? It's a benefit for you. Really, it is. It's a benefit. Children. Did you say children? No, not children. Sorry? To save us. Yes, but there's like that save us is like long-term benefit. Like I'll be saved at the end. But now, today benefit. Sorry? Bless? No, not bless. Okay. The benefit is joy. Is happiness. Do you want to be happy?
Yes.
Really? I mean, simple thing, right? I want to be happy in life. I come to Dubai to have a better life, right? Or I go to wherever I want to have a better. So that's what He wants for you. Happiness. God is in the business of happiness. Believe it or not. Okay, but I want to show you this small clip from. Yeah. No. Now clip, Rachel. Clip. Sorry, we didn't rehearse this, huh? Because we are in different. Anyway. So I want to show you this small clip from Chris Stefanik. He's I don't know whether you'll have been exposed to him, but he's quite popular with the youth group. He's quite popular around the world with youth, and he talks about this thing about happiness. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the lights for a bit. What is it that funny?
Like it's not showing there, right?
Wait, let's take this up. Close this. How much time, right? No, okay, just play the audio. Okay, I can't get the video, but we can listen to what he's. Play.
All of a sudden, I told about 500,000 young people. I felt the deep longing that beats within your hearts. You want to be happy. No, he's right, because everyone who ever existed wants to be happy. In fact, our desire for happiness underlies pretty much every other desire that we have. What do you want in life? I want to be a rock star. Why? Because anything that'll make you happy. I want to be rich and famous. Why? It'll make me happy. I want a great marriage someday. Why? It'll make me happy. Here's the real shocker. A lot of us think our faith is one of those components of our lives. One of those things on the side on our journey through life. Yeah, I got my friends, I got the music I listen to, horseback riding, sports I like to play, and the faith. It's one of those many things that adds to our sense of well-being. No. But check this out. Your faith has everything to do with why you're on this journey of life. It's got everything to do with answering those fundamental questions you have about life, why we're here, and what's going to make us happy. In fact, Jesus' big motive for his whole ministry was to help people discover the happiness they're made for. It's from John 15. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and your joy may be complete. You don't have to have it all together to start this journey. You might have 1,000 questions about your faith. You might be feeling messed up inside like a million different ways. It's all good. Just start the journey. You're a big deal. Whether you know.
Okay, sorry about the video bit, but I hope the message is across. So basically Jesus wants you to be happy, but like he said, he's quoting from John 15, and he says, I think verse 11, and he says, these things I tell you, that my joy may be in you, and your joy be complete. Now, let's consider who's saying this. Suppose Cyril came to me and said, you know, Alan, I have a lot of joy, and I want it to be in you, and if you have my joy, you'll be happy, you'll be complete. I'm like, dude, come on. I mean, I know you're happy and all, but you're Cyril. But if Jesus, the Son of God, says this to you, Jesus says, these things I tell you, that my joy may be in you and your joy will be complete. That's a big deal. What are these things? Is a question I would ask. These things what are these things? The passage John 15 is Jesus the vine. So basically Jesus is saying, you are the branches, I am the tree. Abide in me. So he's saying, I want this relationship. If you are in me that much, my joy will be in you and your joy will be complete. Yeah, your joy will be full, which is a different version. So Pope Francis also in one of his things, I like this term, I'm going to use it over and over again because I just love it, because it reflects on me also, because I do this. He uses a new term called sofa happiness. It's brilliant. So if Rachel, we go to this next slide. Yeah, so this is my description of this word, sofa happiness, right? And again, it's male oriented. We will play video games, have some drinks and pizza, whatever. But I'm happy on my sofa. I'm happy in my comfort zone. I don't want unnecessarily to trouble myself. Remember treasures versus trouble. I don't want that trouble. I'm happier. And my life is kush. I'm a nice guy. I'm not harming anybody. I'm not causing anybody pain. I'm happy. Sofa happiness. Pope Francis says, go out and make a mark. Leave a mark in society. Because tomorrow, your fellow youth who are doing it will probably make some big time rules and big time decisions in governments and whatever, which will impact you. So go today and leave a mark. He's telling not only us, he's telling 1.6 million youth. Don't settle for this year. And I think if you go to the next slide, what kind of happiness do you want? This kind of happiness, sofa happiness, or the complete happiness that Jesus is providing? Complete. What kind of happiness? So it's a choice you have to make. Based on that choice, you look at what do you want, and then you commit to that journey. So another thing Chris Stefanik says is, you don't have to have all the answers figured out. So don't go and leave this meeting saying, oh shucks, this is not in order, I have not figured this out. Oh, but I have to go for 5 months to study. But remember us when you come back. I have to go to 5 months study in New Zealand, whatever. I have to do this, There's too many things. Don't worry about that. Come Alive has been in existence for how many years? 21 years. I promise you, this is a special place. I'm not advertising for the group. I really am not. But there is something special about this group. And if you don't have the answers figured out, come here. Commit to this. Because through this, like, I remember when I came back from my study, I came back and I sat at the back and I looked at everybody smiling and happy and like, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, still people are smiling and happy. Like, something is wrong. But when you go and speak to them, they're suffering. Work problems, financial problems, relationship problems, they're suffering, but they're happy. Right? What's wrong? It is this thing of pure joy. There is so if you don't have it figured out, just commit yourself without thinking, without feeling, oh, I don't feel like I must commend all of you all today. You're all committed to getting out of bed, right? All of you, otherwise you won't be here. It was a commitment you all did. Simple thing like this. So you're all committed to coming to the meeting. Simple thing. You all didn't have. Perhaps some of you are thinking, maybe I'll sleep because Brazil and Germany are playing finals today at 12:30. Gold match. You all know about this? No? Olympics is okay, but this is what I'm saying. So the choices you'll make, and some of the choices that you'll give up is about the goal. Now I have a last video, but I don't think we have time because it's 8:30, so I'm going to let it go. Yeah, because we're not. Can we get the video? It's a 2-minute video. Not this fellow, the other fellow. Yeah, this one. This one. Yeah. Oh, this is very cool. Huh? Check this out. So again about the Olympics. Okay, so I close with that. And again, this is from St. Paul to the Philippians. It's chapter 3, verse 12. And he says this: "Not that I have already obtained this, or am already perfect, but I press on to make it my own, because Christ Jesus has made me his own."